While true of all employees, Latino employees are not accustomed to public confrontation. It is important that you take them aside to talk about personal or work-related matters so as to avoid public humiliation in front of their peers.
What this does is allows a person to broker a compromise while you're saving face with your worker and also with yourself, so that in public you can always embrace and look like you're having a good time. But behind the scenes, the conflict is being resolved without it being brought out into the public arena. So why do they prefer to do it this way? Well, one, because if a conflict comes out in public, then the whole group, because they work more as a group, has to tend to choose sides and to participate in the decision of how they're going to resolve the conflict. So it becomes very messy. It becomes a lot of people gossiping. There's a lot of other people putting in their opinions, which sometimes have nothing to do with actually the problem that you're trying to resolve. So the idea of using an intercessor and keeping it very small is actually a very good strategy, because it allows you to negotiate behind the scenes and to come to an agreement with just a very small group without it having to go into that next larger circle of relationships where everybody has to kind of choose sides and things become polarized. So in resolving conflicts with this group, you really need to try to find that intercessor person, that one person that you can go to explain your side of the story and to help broker this in as much of a private way as possible before it gets into the public arena.
When Latin Americans have a problem with a friend, and if they want to preserve the friendship, many times they will choose an intercessor to broker an agreement to resolve the conflict. In their culture, they are used to having others, authority figures, act as an intercessor.
Latino culture places a high premium on interpersonal relationships. This, linked with a high sense of personal pride and saving face, can cause problems in trying to resolve conflicts. A hallmark of Latino culture is called personalismo, which is generally understood to mean that relationships, both personal and in the workplace, are built on trust and personal connections. Thus, individual respect and integrity are worth much more than simply what service, role, or position that a person holds or has been assigned. Therefore, it's fundamental for managers to be committed to building good relationships towards their Latino workforce in a respectful manner. When a conflict arises, whether it's a conflict with an individual or a group, the Latino culture will tend to elect a mediator, or intercessor as they call them. This person is the spokesperson for the individual or group and has been sent to resolve the conflict at hand. It is important that managers do not reject this person for someone that they feel should be the mediator. This will start the negotiations off on a bad foot by rejecting their elected spokesperson. It is also important that once negotiations begin, that they be done in private, preferably with just the two negotiators. That keeps the conflict from becoming bigger and keeping people from having to choose sides. North American culture, on the other hand, can have a tendency to highly value direct, eye-to-eye public confrontation. This is seen by many Latinos as crude, tactless, insensitive, and demeaning. Seeking to resolve conflicts in this way will tend to polarize both parties into a standoff that will not only hurt business, but also, and more importantly to Latinos, hurt your interpersonal relationship with them.